Hey, what is happening, guys? Rules for Rebels. We're on week 2 of the Millionaire FastLane book club. This is the first time we're doing a book club. The first week we covered part 1, which was chapters 1 and 2. Today we're going to be covering part 2, which is chapters 3 and 4. I really want to get you guys involved in the conversation, so drop comments below with whatever you thought were the biggest takeaways from this chapter. If you have any stories that relate to this chapter, feel free to drop them below. And then also, if any of you guys want to make your own video like I'm doing right now, I know YouTube does not officially have video responses anymore. I don't know if you guys remember that. Used to be able to make a response video to somebody else's video. They took away that feature, but if you guys want to make a response video and drop a comment with a link to your video, that'll probably help you guys get some YouTube traffic as well, because people who are reading this book are going to want to hear other people's opinions too. So make your own video review, drop it as a comment on this channel. I will manually go in. A lot of times comments with links get flagged as spam, but I will manually go into spam and okay any links from you guys with video reviews or video responses. So if you guys want to make your own video, make one, drop a link with a comment, or drop a comment with a link to it in the description box below, and we'll cover that as well. So before I get into this, I had kind of an interesting story to share. So I just finished up the reading for this week. I was considering covering more content each week, but I noticed the first 2 chapters are really short, and I think the next couple parts, I should say, are I think like 5 to 6 chapters apiece, and the amount of reading goes up from like 7 to 10 pages to like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60 pages. So we'll leave it how it is moving forward here. But I just finished doing my reading. My girlfriend was yelling at me to go get some yard waste stickers, so I took a ride over to the gas station. And the guy in front of me, there was an older guy in front of me buying lottery tickets, and not just one lottery ticket, but a lot of lottery tickets. And I see this a lot when you go into a convenience store or a gas station. There'll be somebody in front of you, and they're not just buying one lottery ticket, they're buying like $50 worth of lottery tickets. Let me get 2 of the number 2s and 5 win for lives and box 3, 5, and 9 for me for the rest of this week. And they're doing all this stuff. And I'll occasionally buy a Powerball ticket when the Powerball gets up really high. Sometimes me and some friends will chip in on some tickets, and it's almost more of a social thing. I'm not necessarily expecting to get rich, although that would be fun. But people who buy lottery tickets like on a regular basis or every day, or spend large chunks of money on lottery tickets, are kind of textbook definitions of people who are in the slow lane. They view wealth and success as the snap of a finger, an instant process. It's not a culmination of events or a journey you set out on, but it's one event that happens to you and sets you up. And we all know that that's not true. Most people who have success, it's a long journey. They have a process. They're trying different things. They're sticking to a routine. They're working hard and persevering on something that they're working on for an extended period of time. And we hear the phrase a lot of times that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And in this chapter, they shared the story about the guy who created vitamin water. And even though Coke bought vitamin water for, I forget how many million, or $4.1 billion. The first 11 years, nobody looks at those 11 years and say, wow, this guy was trucking along, selling a water in a market when nobody wanted specialty waters. And nobody, we kind of skip over that part where this guy was probably struggling and scraping by and thought his business wasn't going to succeed, but he kept persevering anyways. And all we think about is the 4.1 billion he sold it to Coca-Cola for, but we don't hear about the struggle. When an athlete gets a contract for $50 million, we hear about that contract, and overnight he goes from being some 17-year-old kid playing high school basketball to somebody who has $50 million. But we don't take into account those midnight basketball pickup games, those hours of practice, maybe the surgeries they had to have due to injuries in sports and things like that. We just see the end result. We don't see all the work that goes into it. So to think that success or wealth is something that's an event as opposed to a process or something that happens over time is the wrong way of thinking. That's slow lane thinking. And that's what I was thinking of when I saw this guy buying the lottery tickets, is he thinks he can just spend $2 and it's going to turn into $2 million. And we all know that just life doesn't work that way. I see the same thing happening with like online marketing and entrepreneurship to some extent as well. People set up a Shopify store and they want to be making $5,000 a week, and they don't realize that it's not going to happen the first week. It's not going to happen the first month most of the time. Another example I see is like viral videos. Everybody wants to make a viral video. Why? Because if you have a viral video, you can literally make like thousands of dollars off the millions of like YouTube views that you're getting each day off this viral video. And while there are some videos that go viral just purely by mistake, maybe it's a prank video or whatever else, a lot of the stuff that's going viral are people who are probably regularly creating content online, and they may have made 500 videos before they finally get one video to go viral. And it's not an incident that happened. It's not a snap of a fingers that, oh, wow, they got lucky this time. Those 500 previous videos they made trying to make something go viral, that kind of taught them what type of videos drive traffic, what type of videos are shareable. Because for something to go viral, it has to be something that people share with one another. You know, YouTube recommended views isn't going to get you a video to go viral. However, when I see a video and then I share it with 5 of my friends and each of them share it with 5 of their friends, things really kind of explode, and that's what causes things to go viral. So a lot of these viral videos that are created, or vines or whatever else, these people have probably made dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of videos prior to making that one to learn what makes something go viral. So that's just kind of 2 stories I wanted to share kind of leading into this. Now we'll kind of get into the actual chapter work, and then, you know, I guess it kind of touches on the couple stories I just told. So it starts off with a quote: "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." I think that's a great quote. It kind of goes along with the whole Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, you can't expect to go from nothing to huge success or successful business or anything like that overnight. Things do take time. I also think it's kind of motivational. I think a lot of times we get frustrated when we're putting in work and we're not seeing the results that we want. And sometimes that can cause you to just quit. Sometimes it can cause you to get frustrated. So, I mean, I'll just compare it to like if you're starting a new workout routine, for example. If you try to go balls to the wall and are like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds, and you're trying to do it all on day one, you're either never going to start because you find it overwhelming, or you're going to work out that first day, and then the next day you burnt yourself out so much that you're going to be so sore and stuff that you're not going to go back to it, and you're going to fall out of the routine. So, you know, I'll compare it. Like when I start a new workout routine and I'm not out of shape, but if I haven't worked out in a while, I'm not going to go do 5 sets of 20 reps the first day. I'm going to take it, you know, it may start at, you know, getting fit may start out with doing 10 push-ups today. And maybe tomorrow you do 11 and the next day you do 12. But it's a slow process. And I think a lot of times by starting low and starting it as a journey, instead of trying to finish that entire journey in one sitting or one session, I think we can get a lot further. In order to kind of get out of the slow lane and make things work, MJ DeMarco gives 2 examples of people not focusing on all of the components. So, you know, investing in stocks, buying foreclosures, these things alone in themselves are not going to make you rich or wealthy or successful. The first example he gives is a road trip. He and his buddies were going to go down to spring break. They were so focused on the road and the road trip that they neglected to do the maintenance on the car, and the car broke down on the side of the road in southern Illinois, which is only about 5 hours from Chicago, on probably a 24-hour journey. The other example he gives is baking cookies, and he says, you know, you may have a great recipe for cookies, but you forget one ingredient, whether it be sugar, butter, whatever else. The cookies are going to suck. You know, they're missing that one ingredient. So nothing can work on its own. You need all the components running together in order for something to kind of work out and be successful. Basically, the idea was you need the entire formula, not just a couple pieces of the recipe. I wasn't really a huge fan of that analogy, but I guess I kind of get it. Next, he says wealth is an ingredient, not an event. I think this is a great point. So many people, like I said, view success as a tipping point or something that happens overnight, or they pray for some event outside of their control to happen, like we discussed earlier, winning the lottery. But it's a slow, gradual process that's a culmination of events. It's not one thing that happens that makes you, you know, rich or successful or wealthy or whatever else. Just going through my notes here, he gives several examples of, you know, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. We hear about the athletes with the big contract, not about the hours and hours he put in practicing. We hear about the new website selling for $10 million, but we don't see the founder living on a couch, putting business expenses on a credit card at 21% interest for years while creating it. I talked about the Glacier water example, where he trucked along for 11 years before Coca-Cola finally bought vitamin water for $4.1 billion. The formula for wealth, I wasn't a big fan of that analogy, but basically it's this. The roadmap is going to be covered in parts of the book 3, 4, and 5. So we're on part 2. So we haven't really gotten into the meat and potatoes, so to speak. It's still kind of setting everything up. Your vehicle is going to be part 6. Your roads are going to be part 7. And your speed is going to be part 8 of this book. So We kind of know we're just kind of ramping things up right now. We haven't really gotten into the meat and the potatoes of that book. We'll be getting into that in the next couple chapters here. Next, he talks about the road to wealth can't be outsourced to a chauffeur. I love this quote. I think I've talked about this before, maybe even in the last video, but I have a lot of people contact me like, hey, dude, can I pay you $40 to set up a business for me that makes like $5,000 a week? You can't buy success. You can't buy the life or the career you want. You need to have your own vision. You need to find your own path, and you need to kind of walk your own road. Even if I could set up a business overnight that makes you $5,000 a week or whatever it is, why would I give it to you for $40 when I could keep it for myself and make $20,000 a month, right? Furthermore, even if I did create a business doing $5,000 a week and just handed it over to you, because you haven't put in the work to build the skills and the knowledge to run a successful business, you would just wind up running the business into the ground anyhow. So that kind of goes to show you can't buy your way into success. I know I watched a couple interesting videos about coaching and mentoring recently by, it was kind of weird. In the same week, Cody Hawk put out one. I think Alex Becker put out one. And Zero Fats Returns put out one, and so did Glendon Cameron from the Kung Fu Hustler. And they kind of talked about like, well, a coach or a mentor or a consultant can help you kind of cut down the learning curve. It's still up to you to have an idea to put into work, etc. So kind of the chapter summary for chapter 3 was wealth is a formula, not an ingredient. Process makes millionaires. Events are byproducts of processes. And to seek a wealth chauffeur is to seek a surrogate for the process. Process cannot be outsourced because process draws on wisdom, personal growth, and strength. The process is what makes you the person who deserves to be helped, to be wealthy. So I've kind of talked about this a little bit in the past, especially with like affiliate marketing and things like that. Like I literally spent probably the first 2 or 3 years of affiliate marketing not really making a whole lot of money, putting in a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of effort, but not a lot of money. And if I had given up, I would have never found my success. But because I kept trucking along, it's not that I was failing, but it was those several years of not having success. I was learning what works and what doesn't work. And I was also building the skill sets needed to be a successful affiliate marketer and e-commerce person. And those skills are writing, minor web design and graphic design, understanding niches, understanding how to drive traffic on the internet. It's all those things that I learned through not making a lot of money for several years that put me in a position and made me the person who can make money doing that type of stuff today. So that is chapter 3. We're going to move on to chapter 4, which is the roadmap to wealth. Wealth is found with a roadmap, not a dartboard. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. You need direction, ideas, etc. So I don't feel like I've given conflicting advice, but I have said at times in the past, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, right? And what do I mean by that? There's a saying I like, and it's a phrase or slogan, whatever you want to say, and it's, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And that's true. If I head out on a road trip and I don't have any destination and I head west and I wind up in Iowa, well, I got to my because there was no map, because there was no destination, any road I took would get me where I was going. However, if I'm specifically looking to go to Florida and I start heading west, I'm heading in the wrong direction. So when I talk about throwing shit at the wall, that's more for you guys out there who are complete beginners or looking to strike out in a new direction. Maybe you decide I'm going to start a blog, and a couple weeks in you realize, wow, not only do I suck at writing, I hate writing, I don't enjoy it. That's not the right path for you. So if you're completely new to making money online, if you don't really know where you want to go or what you want to do, if you don't have a great understanding of what your skill sets are, what your interests are, what type of activities will make money, etc., then you may want to start with the throw shit at the wall method. Try to do some Kindle publishing, try to create a digital product, try some drop shipping, try some affiliate marketing. After a few weeks or a few months, take kind of an inventory of what you've been doing. What are you having success with? What are you not having success with? Which one of those activities do you feel like your skill sets fit? What of those activities are you enjoying? And then you can kind of find a direction and say, okay, I don't really like e-commerce. I'm not really a numbers guy. I don't like having to drive traffic, but I love to write. And I do want to be in business, so maybe affiliate marketing is a path for me, or maybe, writing Kindle books, something like that. So throw shit at the wall if you're completely new, if you don't know what you want to do. Use that to find some direction, and then kind of stop playing the dartboard game and create a roadmap to how you can, further continue down your path. Next, he talks about how to change your life. You need to change your choices. If you're not happy with where you are at, don't continue doing the same shit. Don't continue going down the same path. Well, changing just for the sake of change is better than staying on a failed course. You should not just change because not just change, but change your roadmap and have a plan and a process for that change. So, for any of you, maybe you've been working a job for a couple of years. It's not a bad job. It's not a great job. You're not happy in it. There's not a lot of room for advancement. You're like, I need to do something else. I need to get something else going. I need to make a little bit of side income so that I can put it towards this business I want to start or towards an investment or whatever else. Like the current path I'm on is just not working. But then if you continue doing the same things, well, of course, you're going to get the same results. So I see this a lot of time with people who want to start like an online hustle or start doing something online or start a business. And they're basically, it's the fact that they're not happy with their life or their circumstances that sets them on this path or gets them at first motivated. But then they don't change anything they're doing. They're still going out with their friends after work, farting around at the sports bar. They're still spending their whole weekend, getting wasted and being hungover the next day and sleeping all day. And they're not doing different activities. So, I mean, total off the wall example here. But if you're somebody in that situation, you're going to need to make some different choices. So, okay, maybe after work, instead of going over to your friend's house and playing Xbox for 2 hours, you go home, cook yourself dinner, and spend 30 minutes or an hour writing a blog post or starting to set up a website or whatever else. On the weekends, instead of farting away your entire weekend doing nothing, you don't have to spend your whole weekend working, but maybe set aside an hour on Saturday afternoon and an hour on Sunday afternoon to work on a blog, to work on your eBay store, to find some new products to sell. And by doing those different behaviors, you're giving yourself a chance at a different path. But if you continue doing the same stuff over and over, you really can't expect different results. And I thought that was a strong point from this chapter. The chapter summary, to force change, change must come from your beliefs. Your roadmap outlines, and your roadmap outlines those beliefs. Each roadmap is governed by a wealth equation and a predisposed to a financial destination. So basically, he says the sidewalk's going to make you poor. The slow lane may get you slowly rich over time or may have you scrape and buy for the rest of your life. The sidewalk is the lane to poorness. The slow lane is the lane to mediocrity, and the fast lane is the lane to wealth. So if you're doing activities and living your life like somebody on the sidewalk or in the slow lane, don't expect to be driving for Ferraris and living this luxurious life, because it's just not going to happen. And I accidentally wound up reading into chapter 5, which is actually what we're supposed to be covering next week. And I actually wound up doing a write-up on chapter 5 and chapter 6. But because that wasn't part of, I guess, kind of this week's book club or coursework or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to save that stuff for next week. But it kind of goes into further depth into like what are the behaviors and what the types of things that somebody on the sidewalk does versus somebody in the slow lane versus somebody in the fast lane. But yeah, I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here. So my biggest takeaways from these chapters were probably one, I really liked the quote that it started out with: the journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. I also like the idea that wealth is a process or a road trip and not a one-time event that happens in a flash of a second. Let's see, what else? Wealth is a formula, not an ingredient. It's not flipping houses. It's not whatever else. It's your entire mindset and how you behave and how you live your life. There's different roadmaps to wealth. And if you want different results, you need to change your beliefs and you need to change the path that you're on. So curious to hear from you guys. What were your biggest takeaways from this chapter? Do you have any stories from your own life or your friends' lives or business or whatever that kind of tie into this? Maybe an analogy that can better illustrate some of these points. And really anything else you guys want to add. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you want to make a video response, make it quick, 3 to 5 minute, 20 minute, whatever you want to do, make a video. Upload it to YouTube, come to this video and drop a link, tell us what your video is about and that it's a video response. I will go in and approve all those. And I would like to hear what you guys have to say, and I'm sure other people who are involved in this book club would as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. And anything you have to say, drop in the comments section below. Look forward to chatting with you guys on the next video. I got some good stuff coming out this week. And I guess I'll leave you with, this weekend I saw the movie Sleepless. With Jamie Foxx and T.I. They looked like a really good action movie, not very good. Don't waste your time. But yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video.